Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is the ABM All By Myself podcast, episode 27. And I can't hear that number without thinking about the 27 Club. If you're not familiar, it is a group of celebrities that passed away at that age. And it's said that they sold their souls for fame, or that's the conspiracy at least. And in exchange, they were only allowed to spend 27 years on this planet. Just to give you an idea of a few of them, we have Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain. The list goes on and on and on, but we're going to stop there, and I'm going to share one of my favorite interview moments of all times, not myself personally interviewing, but my favorite interviewee moment, which is going to be one of Jimi Hendrix's. He was on a late night talk show, and the host asked him what it felt like to be the greatest guitar player ever, which Jimi Hendrix replied, I am just the greatest guitar center. I am just the greatest guitarist in this chair right now. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, the amount of humble and modesty in that answer coming from Jimi Hendrix just blew my mind. It touched me to the core, because if you've ever seen this man play guitar, first off, nobody will ever play the guitar like him again. It was an extension of his body. He bent and manipulated the neck of the guitar just to achieve the sounds that he did. And he did all this, by the way, with like a doused headband with acid in it that he would wear on his head while he performed. I highly recommend, if you've never seen Jimi Hendrix play the guitar, it wouldn't be anything offensive to me if you paused this video, went and watched him play, and then came back. You'll just appreciate life more in general, and you'll have a more sense of appreciation for this podcast maybe. And on top of that, just before we get on to the next topic, one conspiracy that I do enjoy right now is that it is possible that Morgan Freeman is actually Jimi Hendrix. If you look at pictures of them side to side, they overlap them, they do comparisons. It's very eerie. So maybe all these people in the 27 Club didn't actually die. They just they just turned into different people, created new identities, and continued in the entertainment business. So leave in the comments, what do you think? I know Morgan Freeman is a huge avid listener of the podcast, so I don't want to make accusations. I'm just saying, Morgan, I've heard it out there and it's interesting. And you know that Morgan has already liked, commented, he subscribed, and definitely has rang that notification bell, ding dong, to stay notified every single day. Fine print, not every single day, when these episodes do go live. And he's the first one in his friend group. He's sending it to Jim Carrey. He's sending it to Oprah, who's probably already sent it to him. They're always battling to see who could win this game of who can share the podcast first, where even the losers are winners, guys, because sharing is caring. Now, to get on to what we're talking about in this episode specifically, I asked earlier on a story via Instagram if any of you had questions, because I would love to answer them over the course of the next few episodes. So we're going to just dive right in. Well, I guess not dive right in. I mean, it's been 3 minutes, so we're going to take 3 minutes, then dive in and just go right into it. And I'm going to do these kind of rapid fire. You know, my brain is kind of like all over the place today. It's been a long week. So if I'm able to go in depth on some of these, I will. But let's just kind of do rapid fire. So, and I'm going to keep these all anonymous. If a man is an ass man rather than a boob guy, does that make him more fruity? That feels like a controversial question a little bit, you know? But no, I would say it doesn't make him more fruity. I wouldn't even use the term fruity. That's a fun question. But I think it's just whatever you're into, you know? And whether you're into boobs or butts, whatever the case may be, some guys are into feet. Some guys are into fingers, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, though, whatever you're into that makes you happy, keep doing that. And don't worry if people think you're fruity for it, man. Be yourself. Okay, next question. What's the most important virtue? Patience. Patience is the most important virtue. Next question. Do you smoke weed? If yes, can you do a podcast stoned? It would be amazing. Okay, so this is multi-pronged. Do I smoke weed? Yes. Can I do a podcast stoned? Yes. The majority of podcasts that I do, I am stoned. So just go listen to a different one. Today, I am not stoned at all, just to be transparent with you. I'm chilling at the moment. Probably later we'll partake a little bit. But I would say 90% of podcasts I do, I have have partaked. I have intaked some cannabis. So I guess by your definition, I'm stoned, you know? There's a few episodes specifically of the Shane Dawson podcast where I might be almost too stoned. And it would be fun. Leave in the comments if you noticed me being a little higher than usual in any of those podcasts. And moving right along, would you have your mother or your brother as a guest on your podcast? Well, no, the answer is no, because it's all by myself. You know, it's in the title. However, I have actually talked to my brother and asked him if I were to give him a phone call, if he would be down to share a story, and that would be on the podcast. Because on the Rodecaster that I use, I can hook it up to Bluetooth, I can make phone calls and do cool shit like that. But I don't know. As far as having my mom on, you know, I don't think so. I mean, this podcast is really just for me to talk for 15 minutes. Even the thing with my brother, that would probably be a separate video altogether. I just want this one to be about me. I'm being selfish here, everybody. Get over it. Where is Sandy from? That is the next question. Sandy is from, her family is from Mexico. You know, the town that they're all from, it's half the town is her mom's family. The other half is her father's family. Very awesome, amazing little town. I've been there several times. I would move there in a heartbeat if I could. But yeah, so Sandy is from Mexico, but she was born here in the United States. So born here in the United States, but Mexico is where historically her family was born and they came from. Can you tell us about your most interesting or memorable trip on psychedelics DMT? I feel like I've definitely done that before, but my most, interesting would definitely be the first time that I took a massive blast of DMT. I had a complete breakthrough. I talked to God. I mean, it was one of those life-changing experiences that probably took me 3 to 4 weeks to tether myself back into reality. And I actually went over it completely in a previous podcast. And if you can't, I'll try to remember to link it. You know, it's kind of hard to find which one it was, but I believe DMT is actually in the title. And there's a few videos on this channel where I talk about that same experience, some more in depth than other. So make sure you enjoy that and have fun with it. So long time listener, first time caller. That's rad. Thank you so much, this person, for including that. That's nostalgic. Would you ever bring back your baby bird bath videos? What an awesome question. So baby bird bath, in case you guys aren't familiar, I had another YouTube channel. The first one I ever made was called Cool Guy with Glasses. And this is I was in a lot of Shane's vlogs and, would be in some of his videos. And I just ended up starting a channel based off of that. And Cool Guy with Glasses, I did a couple of series on there. The first was called Two Pimps, where me and a good buddy, Simply Pimp, acted like two up-and-coming rappers that were trying to get into the game, but we were obviously corny, and that was the whole funny, satirical angle behind it. And then after that, me and a buddy of mine, Joe Aztec, I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about Aztec before, has done all the major video productions for me ever. Known the guy for a long time. Make sure you go follow him if you're not, Aztec Films on Instagram. But we did we did a little series with a character called Young Baby Bird Bath. He was a old school, hip-hop rapper dude, an OG in the game. He kind of talked like this. And, he had a funny voice. And we did videos with, my buddy JD Witherspoon. Shout out to you, JD, where he would play Drake. And, Drake just wanted nothing more than to be on a remix of Young Baby Bird Bath's track, Bitch Came Over. And this is probably, in this current social climate, not as acceptable as it was. But the track went like this. Bitch came over with a baby stroller. I was like, boop, ha, 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 game over. And that was it. And I literally just thought of this funny little fucking 4-bar melody. And I was at Aztec's house and I thought, dude, this could have an entire character around it. And just those 4 bars, we stemmed off a whole series, Tony Cavallero, who I'm sure you guys, if you watch the, the Mighty Gemstones, he's been on that show. He's actually one of the actual characters on that show. But he plays the gothic cousin or the gothic character. but we had him be in like a producer in one of the episodes. And looking back, I'm super proud of that series. I mean, I think it's fucking hilarious. I could watch any of them over again right now. I mean, I would recommend go watching the one where we did an intervention with Charlie Sheen as a young baby bird bath. But I'm kind of getting all over the place here because you triggered so many memories right now, which I thank you for. But me and Aztec, as of recently, have actually talked about bringing young baby bird bath back and have a whole synopsis of like where he was, what he's gone through, what he's planning on doing next. And I would say in the next couple of years, there's like a 50% chance that young baby bird bath will make a full-blown, like, what is it called? A reemergence of sorts onto the scene. So let's go into the next question. In my personal opinion, is getting addicted to smoking weed possible? Absolutely. The answer is yes. You can get addicted to anything. You can get addicted to cough drops. You can get addicted to, working out. You can get addicted to soda. You can get addicted to sugar. You can get addicted to anything that alters or makes you feel better or different or anything like that, right? So what I recommend to people that do smoke weed is just try to make sure that it's not something that you become so dependent on that without it, you are non-functional. And I'm somebody that's gone through this myself. I mean, obviously, I don't make it any of a secret that I am an addict to the core. It's just in my nature, and I have to be aware of that. And I try to treat cannabis or anything else like a tool. And just to give you a little analogy, a hammer is a tool, right? A hammer can hang up a family memory on a wall. Hell, a hammer could even help build you the wall that you hang up the family memory on. It can help you take down a wall to put a new one up. But you can also get bludgeoned with a hammer. You can just hit a hole in the wall with a hammer and completely ruin it and fuck it up. So you have to know how to use the tools that you're presented with. And typically one way to find out if something is negative in your life and it's causing a bad addiction is if it has negative implications. If it's making your life more of a challenge, if it's taking away positive attributes from who you are, then yes, I would consider that a problem. But I by no means am against people smoking weed. I'm an advocate. I think that everybody should have access, but just like with anything else, make sure that you do things responsibly. You know yourself enough to know when you're doing it too much and have some self-control, which we all struggle with, I'm sure. But this is just your daily reminder to try to be disciplined if possible. Next question. What do you and Sandy do for work? What do me and Sandy do for work? So she works at a wellness center at a school where they help kids that are going through it. You can come in, you can get counseled. They have clubs, they throw events. She makes all these cool posters that they put around the school to remind kids of how amazing they are and maybe to take certain things into consideration throughout their day that they might not have, right? Like being grateful and all of these things, because in high school, it's an easy place to get your mind just sucked into negativity and maybe feel in certain ways. So she's there for the mental health of these kids. What do? I work for a company called Clone Guy, and I've known the owner and his family for like a decade or so. The company is based in Long Beach, my hometown, which is rad, family owned and operated, with the main goal being to supply the home grower with the best possible genetics that you can get. So we sell clones of cannabis plants that you could buy at almost pretty much any retailer in the state of California. If they don't have it yet, make sure that you recommend that they bring in Clone Guys, or you can comment and say, hey, I live in California. I live near this dispensary. They don't carry your products, and I'll make it happen. Because what I do is I handle the retail sales, some of the marketing and customer relations, and just try to make sure that we are making an impact in the market. That is what I do for a living. And I couldn't be more happy. I've always been into sales. I love customer service. I love dealing with products that I believe in, because it's not hard for me to sell, but it's hard for me to sell something that I'm not stoked about the person receiving, like it makes it a little bit of a challenge for me. So, it's an amazing job. I highly recommend, if you're in California, you've never grown your own cannabis, you would like to, even if you don't smoke and you just want to see what kind of product you can yield out of it, definitely go to thecloneguy.com, check out the local dispensary near you that carries our products, and get it going and tag me. If you tag me, I'll definitely repost it. That would be rad. So let's keep it going. Let's go to another question. Have you guys talked about marriage? I am assuming you're asking if me and my wife of, 9 years, Sandy, have talked about marriage. And yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it in the beginning of our relationship. We did get married in 2014. We've been happily married since. So, yeah, great question. I mean, I don't. Maybe you're not aware that we're married, and maybe other people aren't as well. So thank you for asking, so I can clarify. Me and Sandy are happily married. Do you have a comfort movie? That's an awesome question. I've never even thought about something like that, if I have a comfort movie. But no, I don't think I do. I couldn't tell you a comfort movie that I have, but I will tell you that my favorite movie of all time is Blow with Johnny Depp. I don't believe there's another movie that travels through the human experience in such a way, such a roller coaster of emotions. You're just rooting for an individual that you know inevitably is going to end up in a bad place. But yeah, so Blow is like it is my favorite movie of all times. And then to give you a couple other movies that I enjoy, Boondock Saints, Casino, Goodfellas, and the list goes on and on. I love Boiler Room. Boiler Room is like ultimately the best sales movie I believe that's ever existed. On top of Wolf of Wall Street, there's another one like Greg Henry, McDouglas, or something like that. Leave in the comments if you know what I was just referring to. That would be rad. But there's another sales movie that like it's just a couple of names, but I wasn't too into it. But yeah, great question. That was awesome. Let's keep it moving. And just a couple more, because I do see here that we are at like almost 18 minutes. Because I do see here that we are over the 15-minute mark. So what's one of your favorite moments over the past year? Hands down, having Sandy on the Shane Dawson podcast, her coining the term farmer. I mean, you could literally right now be wearing a sweater that came directly from Sandy's brain on that podcast. It was also, for a lot of you guys, your first introduction to her as a human being, and you were able to see what I've been seeing for so long, how amazing she is, how just genuine she is, how funny she is, and she's just an all-around awesome person. And since then, she started her YouTube channel. She's been putting herself out there. We have our own podcast together that episode 2 is now out. Couple goals. Shameless plug alert. I'm just kidding. It ain't shameless. I love it. But so yeah, so that would definitely be my favorite moment of the past year is just having you guys experience what I know to be the most amazing person on this planet, which is my wife, Sandy. And I gotta say, the comments, they just really warm my heart. You know, you guys are calling her queen, like it's just fucking awesome. And then the last question I am going to get into: what's your favorite Shane Dawson podcast outfit so far? And I got to be honest, I like to be comfortable. I like to look cool. I like to look hip. So I think my favorite outfit so far was the fake Gucci Lion suit that I still have to this day. I still wear the jacket all the time. It's fucking rad. And I'm pretty sure people know that it's fake. At first I was kind of worried. Like, I don't want people thinking I'm wearing some $5,000 fucking tracksuit out and about. But I think it's very obvious that when you look at me, you know I'm rocking some bootleg. So it's all right. But that would be my favorite outfit from the Shane Dawson podcast. And on that note, that's going to end this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for submitting all of these amazing questions. The next time we do this, it'll be like more of an advice where I'll give long format answers. But I hope you enjoy these rapid fire questions that we did today. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless.